A few years ago, I lost the chance at the job of my dreams, meaning I didn't get the job. And in that moment, it felt like all the hustle and the hard work I'd given was worth nothing. It kind of felt like I had all the talent and all the grit, but still nothing. And even when I felt like I moved on to other opportunities, it still felt off. No matter how hard I worked, no matter how many beautiful things I felt I created, no matter how many yeses I had given to please everyone, it all still felt like I was headed in this direction that I didn't want. My name is Freddie, and I help creatives restore the joy and wonder in what they do, because that's what I needed to do in my own story. So from my journey, I created something I now call the Renewal Compass. This is 4 directions that help guide creatives when they've maybe lost clarity in what they're doing in their work or just their life. So there's 4 directions here: renew, reorient, reinvigorate, and reconnect. Last week we talked a lot about the first step, which is renew. This is really just about building a rhythm of rest in your life. And now when you've kind of done that direction, you've rested and you've kind of gotten the hang of building it into your life, you step into this next direction, which I like to call reorient. It's all about reorientation. Reorientation is what happens when you start to realize you've been building this life you don't actually really want, or it doesn't look like you anymore. It's when the goals you used to chase, for example, my dream job, doesn't make sense anymore, or it doesn't happen. It's when the work you're doing no longer feels aligned with who you're becoming and who God is shaping you to be. And the good news is you don't need to really start over. I think a lot of us just need to realign. And so that's what reorientation is about. To do this, I actually built something called the reorientation matrix. I'm going to spend some time giving you more of a 30,000 foot view of this in this video. And then throughout this week, we're going to break down each area. So the reorientation matrix is built off of 4 different parts: purpose, peace, process, and people. Each one, I believe, is tied to a specific arena in your life. Purpose is tied to your spirit, your heart, your soul. Peace is tied to your mind. Process is tied to your physical life, your body. And the last one is people is tied to your community. I think all of these are tied together. When these are aligned, I think everything kind of feels very clear. But when even one of them is just out of sync, your direction starts to fog up and you lose sense of that. So let's start and look at purpose first. Purpose is about defining your deepest why. And purpose is like putting your stake in the ground for where you're headed. It's what becomes the North Star in your life and guides you to maybe feeling like we're a part of something greater than ourselves, bigger than ourselves. In the branding world, we talk a lot about purpose. We sometimes say purpose gives us vision to see the kind of future we want to help create. Purpose is everything. If we don't have it, we can't have everything else, because once we define purpose, it leads us to the next thing: peace. Peace is an area that's really important because it's about changing your mindset. When you start changing your mindset, you eventually start to see peace quietly enter in. The battle of the mind is so complex and so difficult because the mind is powerful. For even the greatest singers that I know, their mind can make them hit an awful note because either they're nervous or they're believing something untrue. It can stop you from creating when you've had inspiration. Incredible writers like Stephen Pressfield from The War of Art might call this the resistance. And even more deeper, it can lead us to anxiety or leave us in fight or flight. The mind is so powerful, but maybe what we need to do is re-steer it. I believe peace helps us do that. And when peace drives us, the mind will eventually help us flourish in creativity and our lives. From there, the next area is process. This is more about the daily physical life. How are your habits looking? What healthy rhythms do you need to build into your life? What are you consuming that is clearly causing issues for you? Process is the structure that helps us take care of our bodies. This is about making small compounding investments into your own physical life to not only prolong it, but to help you be physically present. And the last area is people. People is your community. I think this one's pretty clear, but if it's not, we need to define and refine our community. First, we have to remind ourselves of the people who are priority. This is our families, this is our deepest friendships, our micro circles or inner circle, if you probably heard it that way. Then we have to check on our macro circle. This is not like church hopping, finding only what works for you on a surface level. This is about actually finding the people who love you, who believe in you, who want the best for you, but they're also not afraid to challenge you and to give you perspective. It's not about finding people who look and act like you. It's about finding the people who push you to be better. And I'm grateful enough to know who those people are in my life right now. So this week, we're going to look at each of these areas and dive super deep into them. And what I would love to do is help you figure out where your alignment might have slipped in one of these areas, or maybe all of them. And then we can focus on how to regain that alignment. Because feeling lost doesn't mean the story is over. It just means you're somewhere between who you were and who you're becoming. That's a really special and sacred place, in my opinion. And so if you want to know which direction you're in right now, one thing that I always like to say is start with rest. Rest is a really, really important step. So if you want to start with that, you can download the Creative Renewal Map below in the description. It's this free guide that just helps you find some clarity and some peace. Thanks for watching and looking forward to diving into the rest of it.